The house had been quiet for weeks, but tonight, the quiet felt different. Not peaceful, not still. It pressed against Eleanor's ribs like a warning she couldn't name. She moved through the dim hallway with the slow, deliberate steps of someone who had learned to listen to silence. The air carried a heaviness she couldn't shake, as if the walls themselves were holding their breath. Arthur's cane still leaned against the entryway table. His slippers still sat by the bedroom door. His voice, though gone, lingered in the corners like dust that refused to settle. She touched the cane gently, her fingers trembling. She had been alone too long, and the house had begun to feel like a place waiting for something to happen. Derek's footsteps upstairs were soft, too soft for a man who claimed to be grieving. Eleanor paused, listening. He had been staying with her to help, but his presence felt like a shadow that grew longer every day. She couldn't explain it, not even to herself, but something in her chest whispered that Arthur's death had not been the natural tragedy Derek insisted it was. She moved toward the kitchen, her breath shallow. The floor creaked behind her. She froze. Derek's voice drifted down the stairs, low and controlled, as if he were speaking to someone on a phone. But when she strained to hear, the words dissolved into the hum of the refrigerator. She steadied herself on the counter. The house felt wrong. Derek felt wrong. And for the first time since Arthur's passing, Eleanor felt a flicker of fear. A soft knock at the door startled her. When she opened it, the cold night air rushed in, and with it, a familiar face she hadn't seen in years. The nurse she once taught stood there, older now, sharper around the edges, but with the same steady eyes Eleanor remembered. "Mrs. Hale?" she asked softly. "Are you all right?" Eleanor didn't know how to answer, but the nurse's hand rose instinctively, brushing a stray hair from Eleanor's cheek with a tenderness that made her throat tighten. Something was wrong, and someone else finally saw it. The nurse stepped inside, her presence filling the room with a quiet strength Eleanor hadn't realized she needed. She set her bag down and studied Eleanor with the practiced eye of someone who had seen too many people hide their pain. "You look exhausted," she murmured, steadying Eleanor's arm as she guided her to a chair. "Tell me what's been happening." Eleanor hesitated. The words felt dangerous, as if speaking them aloud would make everything real. But the nurse's voice was soft, reassuring, and her touch grounded Eleanor like a hand on a trembling branch. "Derek," Eleanor whispered. "He's different." The nurse's eyes narrowed. "Different how?" Eleanor swallowed. "He watches me. He moves things when I'm not looking. He says Arthur wanted him to take care of everything, but Arthur never said that." The nurse listened without interrupting, her expression unreadable, but warm. She reached out, gently adjusting the blanket over Eleanor's lap. "You're not imagining this," she said quietly. "I can feel it too." Upstairs, a floorboard groaned. The nurse's head snapped toward the sound, her instincts sharp. She leaned close to Eleanor, her voice barely above a whisper. "You're not safe with him." Eleanor's breath hitched. She had known it deep down, but hearing it aloud made her chest tighten. The nurse squeezed her hand. "I'm here now, and I'm not leaving you alone." The walls felt closer than ever, but for the first time, Eleanor wasn't facing them alone. The next morning, the house felt colder. Derek moved through the kitchen with a smile that didn't reach his eyes. He placed a cup of tea in front of Eleanor, his hand lingering on her shoulder a moment too long. "You should rest today," he said. "You've been confused lately." The nurse watched from the doorway, her expression calm, but her eyes sharp as glass. When Derek left the room, she stepped forward and quietly slid the cup away from Eleanor. "Don't drink that," she whispered. Eleanor's heart pounded. "Why?" The nurse didn't answer. Instead, she lifted the cup, sniffed it, and set it aside with a controlled, deliberate motion. "Because I don't trust him." Eleanor's hands shook. "Do you think he—" The nurse knelt beside her, placing a steady hand on Eleanor's knee. "I think Arthur's death wasn't what it seemed. And I think Derek is trying to make you doubt yourself." A cold wave washed over Eleanor. She clutched the nurse's hand, her voice trembling. "What do I do?" "We gather proof," the nurse said, quietly, carefully, "and we don't let him know we're watching." Eleanor nodded, though fear coiled in her stomach. The truth was dangerous, but the nurse's presence made it feel survivable. Upstairs, Derek's footsteps paused. The house held its breath. The nurse squeezed Eleanor's hand. "Stay close to me." Days passed in a tense, fragile rhythm. Derek's behavior grew stranger, his temper sharper, his smiles thinner, his eyes colder. He hovered over Eleanor, insisting she was forgetful, confused, incapable of managing the house. But the nurse was always there, a quiet shadow at Eleanor's side. She steadied Eleanor's arm when Derek's voice rose. She brushed Eleanor's hair back when fear made her tremble. She whispered soft reassurances that cut through the fog Derek tried to create. One evening, Eleanor overheard Derek on the phone. His voice was low, urgent. "She's slipping," he said. "Soon she won't know what's real." The words hit Eleanor like a blow. She backed away, her breath shaking. The nurse caught her before she stumbled. "What happened?" she whispered. Eleanor repeated the words, her voice cracking. The nurse's jaw tightened. "He's accelerating things," she said. "We need to act before he isolates you completely." Eleanor's eyes filled with tears. "I'm scared." The nurse cupped her cheek gently, her thumb brushing away a tear. "I know, but I'm here, and I won't let him hurt you." For the first time, Eleanor saw the mask slip, not just Derek's, but her own. She wasn't helpless. She wasn't confused. She was a woman being hunted in her own home, and she wasn't alone anymore. The nurse found the first piece of evidence in Arthur's study, a folder Derek had hidden beneath old tax documents. Inside were unsigned forms, forged signatures, and a life insurance policy Eleanor had never seen. Her hands shook as she held the papers. "He planned this," she whispered. "He planned everything." The nurse placed a steady hand on her shoulder. "We take this to the police, but we need more." They searched quietly, methodically, always listening for Derek's footsteps. In the attic, they found Arthur's journal, pages torn out, entries scratched through. But one line remained untouched. "Derek is pushing me. I don't trust him." Eleanor's breath broke. She pressed the journal to her chest, tears slipping down her cheeks. The nurse knelt beside her, brushing her hair back gently. "He tried to erase Arthur's voice," she said softly. "But he didn't succeed." Eleanor looked at her, eyes shining with grief and fury. "He killed him." The nurse nodded once, her expression steady. "And now he's trying to break you." Eleanor wiped her tears. Not anymore. The truth was no longer a whisper. It was a fire. The confrontation came sooner than they expected. Derek found the journal in Eleanor's hands and froze. His smile vanished. "What are you doing with that?" he asked, his voice low and dangerous. Eleanor stood, her legs trembling but her spine straight. "Reading what Arthur wrote about you?" Derek stepped forward, but the nurse moved between them, her stance calm but unyielding. "Don't take another step." Derek laughed, a sharp, humorless sound. "You think you can protect her?" The nurse didn't flinch. "I already am." Eleanor felt something shift inside her, a strength she thought she had lost. She stepped beside the nurse, her voice steady. "You don't control me anymore." Derek's eyes darkened. "You're confused, Eleanor. You need help." "No," she said. "I need you to leave." The nurse placed a gentle hand on Eleanor's arm, grounding her. "The police are on their way," she said calmly. "We've given them everything." Derek's face twisted, but before he could speak, sirens wailed in the distance. The nurse guided Eleanor back, her touch soft, protective. "You're safe," she whispered. "It's over." For the first time in months, Eleanor believed it. The house felt different after Derek was taken away, lighter, as if the walls had exhaled. Eleanor sat by the window, watching the morning light spill across the floor. The nurse brought her a cup of tea, setting it gently in her hands. "You're shaking," she said softly, brushing Eleanor's hair back. "I'm all right," Eleanor whispered. "Just tired." The nurse sat beside her, their shoulders touching. "You're safe now, and you're not alone." Eleanor looked at her, gratitude filling her chest. "You came back when I needed you most." The nurse smiled, a small, warm curve of her lips. "You saved me once. I wasn't going to let you face this alone." Eleanor leaned her head against the nurse's shoulder, letting the warmth steady her. The house no longer felt haunted. It felt like a place where healing could begin. Outside, the world moved on, cars passing, birds calling, life continuing. Inside, Eleanor breathed deeply, fully, without fear. She had survived. She had been believed. She had been protected. And for the first time since Arthur's death, she felt something like peace. She wasn't alone anymore.